there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with this week's episode of the Rogues Alley. This week I wanted to try out Thalia's Lieutenant as well as the Collected Company and Duskwatch Recruiter to see if they're good enough for Modern. Modern, of course, gets some nice little aggressive cards in the form of Mayor of Avabruck and Champion of the Parish. So that's the deck is going to kind of be based around, is early ramp through the one drops being either Champion of Parish or Noble Hierarch and Avacyn Pilgrim into hopefully a 3-drop, and then start dropping a Thalia's Lieutenant and a Mayor on turn number, as quick as turn number 3. Boosting up one of these Mirran Crusaders or like a Silverblade Paladin that's been attached to a Champion of the Parish. And then you're really, really quick to lethal at that point. Now, these two cards do not have a lot of synergy between them. It already has double strike. This one gets double strike if it's paired with another card. So you're wanting to be pairing up the Silverblade Paladin to like a Thalia's Lieutenant or a Champion. We have as far as why Collected Company's in here, is we do have enough 3-drops to justify running it, as well as we can main phase a Collected, or attack phase, main phase a Collected Company to try to hit like a Silverblade Paladin, pair it up to a huge creature, and try to double strike win right off the bat right there. So I'm going to run one with Lead the Stampede, just because we're running 34 creatures. I think this is a pretty good value card in here. I liked it just slightly over Court of Calling. We do have the mana dorks to really support Court of Calling, but this deck doesn't really, it's not a toolbox deck. You're really not trying to tutor for anything specifically. You just want as much gas as possible. I'm also running a 2 of Accorder Paladin. You could run the Hanweir Captain from old Innistrad as well, that when it attacks, it gives all humans +1/+1. But I think the Battle Cry, a 3/1, and the +1/0 is good enough, and then just the 3/1 body is a little more relevant in Modern. I at first had Experiment 1, and it was the way that could get the Experiment 1 up to a 3 toughness, but then I've recently cut the Experiment 1 just because it's really hard to evolve the Experiment 1 in this deck. So Champion of the Parish basically evolves off everything in the deck. Thalia's Lieutenant also evolves off of everything in the deck, and when it enters the battlefield, puts +1 counter on everything else. Thought about running a Hardened Scales in here, but again, not enough +1/+1 counters to justify it. There's a few other cards like the Wild Beastmaster I thought about running, but Accorder Paladin just seemed to be a little more aggressive, and we could try a Wild Beastmaster. I don't know how well it will work. There was a few other cards. I think that White wants one other aggressive 1-drop. I'm okay with the mana dorks, but this is where I'm kind of iffy about. So that's why I put 4 Gavony Townships in the deck. This could work with Hardened Scales, but I think Hardened Scales is just, if I was going to cut one card, it'd be the Lead the Stampede, and then Hardened Scales is just kind of very awkward in this type of build. I do have a Dromoka's Command in the sideboard that can work off of the Hardened Scales. Scavenging Ooze as well. We'll go on the sideboard in a second, but I think that's just the gist of the deck. Mayor is just going to give all your humans. You actually don't want to flip the Mayor, as it only gives werewolves and wolves +1/+1 once it's flipped, and that's nothing, really nothing in the deck at that point. But if it can remain unflipped, the 2-drop that has an Anthem type effect is very powerful. We see that in like Merfolk, and you got to think of Thalia's Lieutenant sort of like a disadvantage and advantage to the Mayor or traditional other of the Anthem type effects, because it immediately puts +1 counter. So if they remove the Thalia's Lieutenant, then we have like Noble Hierarchs and Avacyn Pilgrims that have already got some sort of boost. I'm going to try to actually cast this guy more later than early. I can see going first turn Champion of the Parish and a second turn Thalia's Lieutenant, but we're very, very heavy on the green. I'm only running 4 basic forests and 1 basic plains, just to try to guarantee that we can have this first turn Noble Hierarch or Pilgrim. Of course, Noble Hierarch is really good with Exalted, Silverblade Paladin, Champion of the Parish. I'm sure we're going to see some draws like that, or Accorder Paladin on a Silverblade Paladin, then exalts in for 8 double strike damage quick. So sideboard, I'm going to run Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. I think that the non-creature spells costing 1 more is really good in this to bring in against the hyper control decks, like the very heavy control based decks. And Storm, it's going to be good against. A 3 of Path to Exile, a 2 of Dromoka's Command, 4 Auriok Champions just for the burn. I'm not quite sure I like this card in the deck. I thought about just putting like a 1 of Nora in the Wary, but it's red. You have to go into red at that point. Burning Tree Emissary is another card I thought about going into, because then you'd have a way to utilize the red into either Lightning Mauler or into Norn the Wary. Lightning Mauler is another soulbound creature that's in red. The soulbounds gives haste. So 2 Banisher Priests, I think these are pretty powerful against like Scavenging Oozes and Tarmogoyfs. They can take out a blocker, swing in for lethal. They're nice to find off a Collected Company. And the Ooze is just going to be our kind of living end answer. So that's really the gist of the deck. Nothing too special. Just trying to really test out the Thalia's Lieutenant to see if it actually makes this tribal worthwhile. I could see the argument that maybe instead of Collected Company, we could go into Aether Vial. Aether Vial would be pretty decent with cards like Silverblade Paladin and the Mayor, for sure. Just instant speed flashing those in. I thought about splashing blue even for Reflector Mage and Meddling Mage. Those are also humans that have really powerful effects in the modern format. But I thought that just keeping it to 2 colors right now would be the best way to test the Thalia's Lieutenant. And at that point, we're really getting... and the Noble Hierarch is in blue, so there's that advantage. But at that point, we're getting a little bit clunky, like too many cards. We'd have to go down to like 2 ofs instead of 4 ofs. And I'm trying to just test the overall sheer power of particular cards. So you do want to try 4 ofs, with the one exception being the Duskwatch Recruiter. I'm only going to run a 1 of, because I think you never want more than 1 of these in the deck. With the ability to look at the top 3 cards. I don't even know if this is powerful enough for Modern, but we're definitely going to give it a go. So we're going to try this out in a Modern League, see how well it performs. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.